14 overs. That's 194 overs, you told us before, Darren. 632, just a lazy. And Alan might have some good odds on the Aussies to win that. 500 to 1 for Rodney and Dennis. It's another couple of runs here. So it's no wicket for 26, but the significant thing is no wickets down. Warner 22 and Cowan 4.
We'll cross back to Smokey Dawson at the fall of a wicket. We'll also get a wrap of the day's play with him straight after. It is 14 minutes to 9 o'clock. Betstars and Stripes brought to you by Betstar. Betstar offering the best NFL promo Australia has ever seen. From 10 a.m. Sundays, you can get $2 favourites in all NFL Week 13 games. First 500 punters through. Head to betstar.com.au to get your slice of the pie. Betstar.com.au. Just quickly from the cricket, South Africa have looked like taking a wicket on a number of occasions, but have been unable to break through. Australia now none for 30, so still 600-odd runs away. And Smokey did float the question, Al, are you giving Australia any chance whatsoever?
So I had a look before. I think they were $7.80. I think South Africa were maybe $1.14. Actually, sorry, the draw was $7.80 and Australia was about $15 or something like that.
Okay.
But before we finish the show, I'll get a price for you.
Now, we need our callers through for our competition. First two callers through now. A little bit later than normal, but we've still got the Game Pass up for grabs. Be an NBA season Game Pass. You can watch any game any time, or the same thing with the NFL. You can archive them. You can watch them in your lunch breaks at work. First two callers through to go head-to-head with a quiz question. 94291116. The lines are open. We need our first two contestants. What's the degree of difficulty today?
Simple.
Simple. Wow.
They've all been easy gets.
And the NFL Game Pass is a beauty.
So make sure you get on the line, 94291116, if you'd like the opportunity to win that, either NFL or NBA. Before we take those opportunities, Ed, just our weekly education, your time where you inform the listeners about terminology or whatever it may be that might be confusing them over the last couple of weeks.
Well, a quick one tonight. This is for Doc. He was talking about watching some college games. We're now in the bowl era is now being set up, the bowl season, and the only one that really matters is the BCS championship, which is going to be Notre Dame against Alabama, and they're saying that it's going to be the highest rated cable television program, not just sporting event, program.
Both teams lost
in the history.
One game.
Notre Dame is undefeated.
Yeah.
Alabama was beaten by Texas A&M, but came back today and beat Georgia in the championship game. So that's the big game. There's going to be a couple other ones, and we can talk about these as they come up, but the traditional bowls like the Rose Bowl, which is going to feature Stanford and Wisconsin, the Fiesta Bowl, which might be the best of all, which is going to be Oregon against Kansas State. I think that's going to be about 85-80. That game.
Who's your tip
that will be
one?
The over. I'll tell you that right now. I think Alabama beats Notre Dame. I think they're too good for Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's had a couple of close calls where they should have lost, but they didn't, which is great. Brian Kelly's done a great job with Notre Dame, but I think Alabama's going to make it 2 in a row. But anyway, the bowl season is now underway. The regular season games, for the most part, are over. So as we move into December and early January, it's bowl season.
94291116. Our lines were temporarily jammed, but they are open now. We have had a couple of callers coming through, so keep those opportunities coming through. We'll get our two contestants forward. 94291116. So still opportunities for you to win those NBA or NFL Game Passes by being the first two callers through. So whilst we're waiting for the race to be won, so to speak, by our first two callers, we might take a look at studs and duds for this week and then get into some of the issues of the round. But 94291116 to take part in that competition. We'll start off with the studs of the week. Ed, you're first up.
Well, I'm going to start with a guy named T.Y. Hilton. How's that for a name? No relation to Paris, by the way. He's in Indianapolis, young kid playing with Andrew Luck, scored a couple of touchdowns last week, 75-yard punt return, wide receiver,
so
caught one. We need a sound
symbol.
Rim shot. First player in Colts franchise histories to score on a receiving touchdown and a kick return in the same game. So T.Y. Hilton, remember that name?
My stud is Ray Rice, and I'm not talking through my pocket because he hurt me. Didn't score a touchdown, but that catch. They were
4th and 29.
4th and 29, and they were down 13-10, I think.
That's
at
like
the time.
taking a knife and just twisting.
They were gone for all money, and he got. I think they got 6 more plays or something like that, and scored and beat me. So Ray Rice, he was my stud.
Fair enough.
My stud is plural today. It's the 49ers defence. Could be the best defence in football at the moment. And they made another strong statement on Saturday. Brooks and Widner each had interception returns for scores, and the San Francisco defence, they sacked Drew Brees 5 times in their victory. 31 to 21.
I think they picked him off 5 times too, didn't they?
That was the Falcons this week. So back-to-back rough weekends for Drew Brees. Not sure he'll be on Ellen this year. He'll be demoted to another talk show, I'm afraid.
The duds of the week, looking at the poorer side of the schedule.
Yeah, it's always rough to do this, but the Steelers, without Ben Roethlisberger, things aren't going well on offense. Charlie Batch struggled, was intercepted 3 times. They're going to be in a bit of trouble. They've also got some running back issues. They can't really establish a good running game. So, real dud, and they're going to be another dud next week if they don't get it done against the Ravens.
I don't think I've got any duds this week other than, can I just collectively say the Jets and the Eagles?
You can. Absolutely.
You loathe the Jets, don't you,
Yeah,
Doc?
I do. Yeah.
They're both 2 teams, and I throw the Cardinals in there too, Doc. They started with 4 wins and lost 7 straight.
I know, but the
right
expectations before the season started weren't the same for Arizona.
Correct.
As for those 2 pretenders.
In which case, I'm going to use Ryan Lindley as my dud then. He's a quarterback for the Cardinals. He's really hurt their chances this year. He threw 4 interceptions, including the pick sixes to Jenkins, and the Cardinals have lost 7 in a row.
Very disappointing season there. They've really struggled to find a quarterback. Kevin Kolb, of course, who was the backup in Philadelphia that the Eagles let go when they brought Michael Vick in. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My dud was the Steelers offense. They've just been playing very poorly.
And I've just got that cricket score for you, Dash, or the market, I should say. South Africa $1.24, the draw $5.60, the Aussies $12.25. Rank
but
outsider.
I'm suggesting anybody take $1.24 on the sun coming up. But $1.24 with a team that's got 2 days to bowl out a team that has to score 600 plus. In the history of betting on cricket, the normal price for that's about $1.03.
Just we're generous at Betstars, Doc.
I'm just saying,
generous mob, you know.
There's this element of doubt about this pitch and can they bowl Australia. That's the best $1.24 chance I've ever seen.
A lot of people look at it when
seriously, think about it, Al.
Yep.
A lot of people
2
look at it
days.
when South Africa chased 418, but that was
That's
in a
another
day in a session.
Add another 220 onto
that.
that.
Exactly, and another day's play essentially as well. David Warner is 27 not out, 28 not out now. It's none for 38. We did have a couple of issues with the phone lines, which are now 100% resolved. So they're open 9429 1116. I know a couple were trying to get through. You can do so now. Otherwise, we'll have to make it an SMS-based competition to some of our texters. But the lines are fixed and open 9429 1116. 2 contestants head-to-head, either an NBA or NFL Game Pass, the best prize on Melbourne radio.
Without a doubt.
So make sure you get involved.
Shall we, while we're waiting for those callers, shall we touch on Peyton Manning? Like, I mean, he's just having a fantastic season, and recently passed Hall of Famer John Elway for the second most regular season's wins as a starter in NFL history.
Did you see what happened after the game last week when they beat Kansas City?
I heard. I didn't see.
Great scene shot by a local television camera as Peyton's walking out after the game in his suit and blazer. Jamal Charles from the Chiefs comes up and asks him for an autograph.
Oh, no.
Fantastic stuff. Got the debate rolling. I
was so torn with that. Like, usually I'm very opinionated.
Most people were torn.
I was so torn because part of me is like, if he was my teammate, I'd actually be a little bit perturbed by that because I'm like, we're going to war here. We're 2 teams. We go out onto the field. It should be like the Coliseum, and only one team walks off, and we will do anything to win. But at the same stage, like,
not really, no. But you know what? Most players and ex-players backed him. Said Manning's a legend. The game's over. Why not get an autograph?
What do you think Manning's thinking? Like, he's just sitting there, he's doing his thing, and he's one of the opponents come and asks for an autograph.
Did he didn't say, who do I sign it to, did he?
Jamal.
Did he actually know who it
Jamal.
was?
Yeah, I know. He was hoping to be for one of his kids or something like that. Exactly right.
We've got Dan in Shepparton on the line. We need a contestant to take him on. 9429 1116. So we've got Dan in Shepparton. He's waiting there for an opponent to go head-to-head.
You know what we'll do? Why don't we get Dan up against Ed, okay?
Okay.
But Dan's going to get a handicap, or Ed's going to get a handicap.
Do I get a pass if I win?
What we're going to do is Dan will get one free clue ahead of Ed. So Ed's got 1 clue lag, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's
We're
fine.
happy with that. Are you happy with that,
I am happy
Dan?
with that.
Dan, we welcome you. Are you happy with that little disclaimer?
Yeah, right, I think. Far away.
All right, beautiful. He's keen to jump straight into it. All right, your buzzer is your name. Ed, obviously you would have been across that well and truly by now. Beautiful. And Dan, your buzzer.
Mate.
Yeah, your buzzer is your name.
Yep, Dan.
Beautiful, perfect.
So this is your free clue here, Dan. I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 1986.
That's no clue.
No clue.
Okay.
I attended the University of Tennessee. I was signed in the 2009 as an undrafted free agent. I finished the 2010 season with the league rushing title.
Now I do know this, but I would love to have Dan.
Okay, we're going to give you one more, and then Ed gets a crack here. I am a running back for the Houston Texans.
Arian Foster.
Beautiful.
Well
done.
Hey,
Well done,
Dan, good work.
Good work.
Mate, if you stick on the line, Dan, Tim will grab your details and someone from Betstars will be in contact with you tomorrow and we'll organise an NFL or NBA game pass for the remainder of the season. Well done, buddy.
That's earning it, beating Ed Wyatt.
Thanks, Dan.
Sure. Well done to Dan there for getting up and getting the job done. A few of the other issues of the week, boys, that you wanted to touch on before we bid farewell at Australia with about 2 overs left to survive. Anything else jumping out at you?
Well, I think again we have to just reiterate how good the rookie quarterbacks have been this year. I think we've gone on and on about Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III, the top 2 picks in the draft, but Ryan Tannehill at Miami, Brandon Weeden has been good at Cleveland.
Was that Tannehill's brother playing today in college?
Good question. Maybe there was one in South Carolina and there was a kid in Texas. If it was Texas, it's a possibility. Could be.
And the Colts are 7-4. It's sort of gone under the radar a little bit, Andrew Luck's.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, he's a remarkable kid. And I will just flip one other thing and just say that Stanford is back this year, 10-2, going to the Rose Bowl. It's their 3rd straight BCS Bowl, and they've done it without Andrew Luck. So losing the best quarterback in the country, they've continued. They've now got a freshman kid in there named Kevin Hogan playing well. That's just a remarkable job by a school that's known more for its academics than its athletics.
This might be an ignorant question. Has a rookie quarterback ever won a Super Bowl?
That is a very good question. Off the top of my head, I would say no. I don't think so, but it's a real good question, Al. I would be skeptical.
So who's favourite for the Heisman?
Heisman, it's a mess this year. It's an absolute mess because there's this kid from Notre Dame, Manti Te'o, a defender.
So do they have to beat Alabama for him to,
no,
guarantee it?
He's got to beat out this guy Johnny Football. Remember we touched about him?
Johnny
Manziel.
Yeah.
And the great story about him is they have a policy to school, no freshmen speak to the media. So this legend of this kid just built and no one ever heard from him. Finally last week the coach said, all right, you can meet the media. And the kid just basically went, I'm blown away by this whole Johnny Football stuff. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So I think he's a freshman, so he may not win it, but he'll come close.
Where do you rank Bill Belichick, in the terms of lifetime or overall coaches in the NFL history? On the weekend after they beat the Jets, he became the 8th head coach to get 200 career wins. And it puts him in a very, very elite class.
He's probably the worst dressed coach in the history of the NFL.
Does he care?
One of the best.
Yeah.
He's an inventor. He's creative. He's a very intelligent guy. And I think he went to small school. I think he went to Williams or one of these very small schools in New England and played football. He's a real student of the game. I want to say his dad went to the Naval Academy. So there's a real connection there with intellect and football. Yeah, he's without a doubt. He's not well liked by a lot of people because he's a bit of they had the whole Spygate thing where they were shooting on video on the sidelines, and he's a bit of a irascible guy, and he doesn't talk to the media. He's very one of those sort of Mick Malthouse, almost has this disdain for the media when you hear them speak sometimes, or in the past, I should say, which we'll see again this year. But he's a great coach. Wonderful football coach.
Now, there are a couple of NBA games that we'll look at in a moment. We're about an over away from stumps, and the Cricket Australia have negotiated so far the first hurdle at none for 40.